Alright, here we go. What I'd like to do is show you guys how to solve simple one-step inequalities. On this inequality, got my variable. On this inequality, what we have is 1/4 multiplied times x is less than or equal to a negative 17. So, what you guys have to remember is first when we're looking at this, when we're doing our one-step inequalities or equations, we first have to go and look at and say our variable is being multiplied by a 1/4. So our x is being multiplied by 1/4. So if you guys remember, to undo multiplication, we need to divide. So I'm going to divide by 1/4. However, when we started beginning of year, we did division, we didn't ever divide our fractions. And what we did was we found an easier way. Instead of dividing fractions, we could simply multiply by the reciprocal. And the reason why is because if I need to get rid of that fraction, I multiply by the reciprocal. And whenever you multiply something on a fraction, you multiply the top and the bottom by the reciprocal, and it'll cancel out. So, if you multiply by the reciprocal, that will undo the multiplication of a fraction. So I multiply by the reciprocal on both sides because I'm using the property of multiplication property of equality. Well, 4 times 1 over 1 times 4 is 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. So I'm just going to be left with x is less than or equal to. And if I want to multiply a whole number times a fraction, I can change my whole number to a fraction and then multiply across. So this becomes a negative, that's 34, so it's negative 68 over 1. Oh. So, well, obviously my scale was for a different problem. So, if I'm going to go and rewrite my scale, on a number line, the main important thing you want to have is that your scaling is correct. So, if I'm going to make my point, let's say this will be negative 68. I'll just do negative 69, 70. So, first thing we do is we make our point. Then I'm going to pick 2 other points. I'm going to pick negative 70 and pick 66. And I say, all right, negative 70, is that less than or equal to negative 68? And I say, that is less than, so that's true. Then I'm just going to double check my work, double check my answer, and try a point that's to the right of it or larger than negative 68. And I say, negative 66, is that less than or equal to a negative 68? And that's false. So since I know that this is my true, I know that every single point on here is also going to be true. So rather than making a point for every single possible point, even my decimals, I'm just going to shade to the left. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to test our point. Is negative 68 less than or equal to a negative 68? And that is obviously going to be true because it's less than or equal to. We know negative 68 is equal to negative 68, so that's going to be true. So since it's true, we're going to shade in our circle, and therefore we have our graph of inequality. So that's how you solve simple one-step inequalities.